Hi, Jared Carman, Director of the eView Group Mornington Peninsula, and welcome to the May and June report. We're putting 2 months together this month because we got locked down again in June. Some of you may remember, it almost feels like a distant memory in real estate right now because things are absolutely flying. We've been run off our feet. So in May there were 86 properties that were sold. Now interestingly, 73% of those were houses, were family homes. So family homes have been really popular with people coming out of the city. It seemed that the majority of homes that were really being sought after was something on big blocks, usually around 3 bedrooms plus a study or 4 bedrooms. And the rest of the percentage, 27%, were townhouses and units. Now that flipped around a little bit in June. Now the median values in Mornington for May were 1,200,000 flat. In June it was 1,005,000, and in Mount Martha it was 1,570,000 for May and 1,385,700 for June. The median prices were a little bit lower in June compared to May. But medians aren't perfect indicators. They'll show patterns over time, they'll show trends over time, but it's not an average. It's not an average of the sales, it's the middle house. Now the highest price sale for a property in Mornington and Mount Martha for houses in May was $2,626,000, but for townhouses it was 2.5. Whereas the median for units was $750,000 in Mornington for May and $760,000 for Mount Martha in May as well. Now in June, the prices of those actually went down, or the median price was different, it was a bit lower. Although the highest price property sold for $3,450,000. So it just shows that the trends are more long-term when you're talking about medians. It's hard to talk about it month to month. But the median when you talk about Mornington in June was 706,000 and Mount Martha was 700,000 flat. So on the surface it looks like the market would have fallen a little bit, but it hasn't. There is real heat in the market at the moment with people competing for property. There's been some very big sales around the peninsula, where we had one that sold down in St Andrews Beach in June with a reserve at the 2.5 mark, and that sold for $350,000 above. It went for 2.825. There is a real desire for lifestyle properties down on the peninsula, with people removing themselves from the city full-time and to buy holiday homes. It's remarkable how many holiday homes are being purchased at the moment, with people not spending their money on travel. Australians traditionally would spend $70 billion travelling around the world, and obviously we're not able to travel at the moment, so that money's being spent here at home. So the big ticket items that people are spending money on are obviously houses. People are looking for that lifestyle property or that investment property or that holiday home. So houses are being snapped up, and for higher prices than would normally. People are also buying cars and caravans. So there's a waiting list on cars and caravans, obviously because they want to travel locally and travel within their boundaries that they can. Now we have plenty of people asking their opinion of what's going to happen with the market. And if I tried to profess I know, I'd be talking gibberish really, because we don't know. We don't know what's happening with the market. We were told 12 to 18 months ago that the market was going to fall 30%, and when the COVID virus first hit and the first lockdown hit, it did fall about 7 to 10% pretty quickly, but then went straight back up again. And what we've seen since has been enormous growth. And in actual fact, it's been a swing of probably around 60% from what they said was going to be a 30% fall. We've had 22% growth in the last 12 months in just Mount Martha. And that doesn't take into account the last 3 months where there has been increased growth. Most of the figures that we do get date back to March, so taken on sales that have sold and settled. So it's really interesting what's happening in the market at the moment, but even on the ground level, homes that we've sold in the last 30 days, every property that we've had marketed has sold above the range. Now they've sold above the range because of competitive and spirited bidding, whether it be an auction or a private sale. There have been multiple offers on every property that we've had recently in the last few months, and clearance rates have been enormous. Now we felt a lot of pressure in the market might have been from not as many houses transacting, not as many properties being on the market, but the stats would actually show that there's a similar amount of properties that have sold than previous years. So the turnover is pretty much the same, and it's been consistent of properties on the market. Currently there's 158 properties on the market in Mornington and Mount Martha. And when you're getting 86 to 50 and average, let's say an average of 60 properties a month selling, that's not a lot of stock on the market at any given time. So things are getting snapped up fast. So if you are out there purchasing, you're looking to buy, please get your ducks lined up. Have your property sold already, or be in a financial position that you can put offers forward. And the best terms you can put forward is going to help you, because it's very competitive, especially along the peninsula at the moment. Now, there's a real mix of sales in May to June that we made in my little team here at eView Mornington Peninsula. Some properties that were sold were investment properties for folks that knew it was time to realise a profit. That held the investment properties for a while and realised it was time for them to move forward with their plans. One of those was 18 at 90 Bentons Road in Mount Martha. That was a great unit that sold for $740,000. Now, interestingly, it had sold to a previous buyer who then did not get their finance, and it ended up selling for more than that previous offer. So there's been competition in the market out there. One auction that we had in Frankston, it was on at 520 to 570, and under very spirited bidding, we blocked off the court that it sold in St George Court, and it sold for $681,000 under some very, very spirited bidding. For St George Court, that was a really good price for that area and for the property, and lovely vendors had done a very nice job building the place. It was only a year old, and for them, they were starting to outgrow the property already. They're having a family, and decided they needed a little more space, so they're able to now move forward with their plans to get something a little bit bigger. A great story, an awesome house that we're really happy we sold for some beautiful clients at 6 Brimbrim Crescent in Mornington. It's in around the St Mitchell Circuit area, and it fronted right onto the lake there. It was a really lovely setting on a large block, and that was advertised at 135 to 1485, and it sold over the range at $1,507,000. Again, under really spirited offers, and a lovely couple that are coming from outside the area, so coming from the city, originally from Sydney, that have decided to move to Melbourne and have moved back out to the Mornington Peninsula. We do sell all over the peninsula, and we had a very large sale in Bitton, really cool home at 5A Suttock Street in Bitton, and that was advertised at $900 to $990. The vendors were very reasonable in their expectations, and they'd had an offer placed to them from a friend leading up to it, and ended up we had that many people through the home and that many offers. It ended up selling for $1.15 million in 5A Suttock Street in Bitton. Those folks have now got a plan to go up north. What we are seeing on the Mornington Peninsula is a massive movement. A lot of people from here moving up to Queensland and moving up to the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast. And apparently there's 3,000 people a month leaving Victoria to head north and head over east and go to the Northern Territory. There's a real influx from Melbourne of people coming down here, and people from here heading up towards Queensland and Gippsland. Anywhere with the lands, West Australia land. Doesn't quite work, does it? Another couple off to Queensland at 12 Ellabella Way. Really cool couple, and it was a pleasure to help them sell their home. That was on at 135 to 15, and again ended up selling over the range at 1575. Beautiful home, brilliant place, and our lucky buyers are now selling their home and looking forward to getting into a bigger home for their family. And the big one that started it all in May, started a bit of a roll on, was the one we sold at 8 Summerfield Drive. Now, it was advertised at 115 to 125, and a very reasonable reserve. We thought it was reasonable, and ended up selling for 1450. People fought that out, and it was a pretty spirited bidded auction, and our lucky buyer from the city ended up purchasing it, and her daughter was going to move into the home. That went really, really well, and our vendors are very pleased. The couple that had built the home, that had owned it the whole way through. That was a big result, and that seemed to kick on quite a few other sales in that particular pocket, and Summerfields Estate has gone from strength to strength. On the back of that, in Summerfields Estate, we sold 23 Brighton Close off market, didn't get advertised, and that sold for $1.6 million with really happy vendors. Now, the cool thing about the eView Group is that was listed by some agents from our Frankston office, and us at Team Carmen ended up selling it from the database of buyers that we have. That's a great thing about this network and working within this network of the eView Group, is that it's listed with one, but all of us can sell it, and we work together as a team. So it's a throw out to Kristen and Jax there. Well done on listing that property and helping us help your vendor sell it. Another recent sale at 9 Cherry Blossom Lane, it's just gone unconditional, and that was on at 1.3 to 1.43, and many people came through, and a lot of competition at Beachside Property ended up selling for 1.471. Had some really fun auctions through this month. One of them was 6 at 32 Adelaide Street. Fantastic little 2-bedroom unit, really well done up by our vendors. They've done a fantastic job. It was an investment property for them, but they loved it as their own and had their own kids staying in it. That was on at 500 to 550. We took it to auction, and really fun auction actually, really good people there. It sold for 612,500 under some competition. And another really fun auction that we got to do was at 392A Sandy Road in St Andrews Beach. It was well turned out, really cool auction, held in the backyard, a lot of fun, and the people who were putting in offers started out in the low twos and ended up selling for 2,825,000, which was well and above what the vendors' expectations were. Some people that have purchased it, really fortunate, lucky people, and they love it, and they're just the nicest people you can imagine. So for us, it's great to be able to sell homes with a fantastic vendor, and a vendor that's really lovely, and see it pass on to a family that are going to love it, and they're just lovely people. And it's part of the job that we really get to enjoy, is we get to represent some fantastic people that are just nice people. And if we can help them get on to the next place they want to get to, and help our people that are buying move to a better place, nothing better than that. So if you're considering selling, this is a magic time to sell. A lot of people talk about the winter market isn't as good to sell in. At the moment, it's a brilliant time to sell. So if you want to beat the rush of that spring market, I think it's a fantastic thing to do. Now is a brilliant time to sell because we've got buyers ready, waiting. You know, it's not lip service. We have buyers who are ready to go. They're ready to purchase. When we're getting 50 to 60 groups who are open for inspections and only one couple buy it, pretty obvious there's another 50, 55 people that are ready, willing to go and looking to purchase. And they're not just out there having a look, they are dead set buyers. They're looking to purchase. So we are in a really good spot at the moment on the Mornington Peninsula, very desirable. People want to move down here. And off the back of 2018, when we had the Royal Commission into Banking and everything slowed and there was no money out there, the banks are showing a desire to lend, and they're definitely lending it and helping people move into a better environment and a better place. So come on down, there's some exciting things happening in Mornington. There's new restaurants opening all the time. There's some really cool stuff happening down in Main Street, Mornington. It's becoming a real hub, and it's full of activity. So get down here, get set for the summer, get yourself into a new home, and we look forward to helping you.